U.S. Air Force F-15EX fighter drops first 36 bombs as operational unit reaches strike readiness. The Oregon Air National Guard's 142nd Wing released bombs from operational F-15EX Eagle II fighters at Mountain Home Air Force Base in early May 2026, marking the first weapons employment by a combat-coded F-15EX unit, the U.S. Air Force disclosed on July 17. The event showed that the aircraft has moved beyond developmental testing and can now support routine strike training through an operational wing. Across 10 missions, the unit dropped 36 full-size inert bombs while qualifying aircrews, certifying weapons loaders, and generating armed sorties without safety incidents. The result confirms that the F-15EX can be integrated into frontline maintenance and weapons operations, strengthening its value as a high-payload platform for strike, deterrence, and future force modernization. The BDU-50 and BDU-56 were appropriate weapons for this stage because they reproduce the mass, external shape, and ballistic behavior of operational general-purpose bombs without carrying an explosive charge. The 500-pound class BDU-50 is a thick-wall, non-explosive training body that simulates the Mk-82 or Blue 111. The 2,000-pound class BDU-56 simulates the Mk-84 or Blue 117 and is filled with concrete, vermiculite, and sand. These are not small practice bombs. They impose representative loads on the suspension equipment, affect drag and fuel consumption, and require the same basic loading, arming wire, release, and safe separation procedures as the combat bomb bodies they reproduce. They can therefore expose errors in weapons loading, aircraft configuration, release sequencing, or delivery calculations before explosive weapons are introduced. The test did not demonstrate precision guidance, fusing reliability, or explosive effects. It demonstrated that the aircraft could carry and release representative 500 and 2,000-pound stores against predetermined coordinates under range conditions. That distinction matters because the corresponding combat bomb bodies can be used either as unguided weapons or as the warhead sections of precision-guided munitions. A Mk-82 class body can be fitted with a joint direct attack munition kit to form a 500-pound GBU-38, while the Mk-84 class body supports the 2,000-pound GBU-31 and several laser-guided configurations. The tactical effects differ substantially. The 500-pound class is better suited to targets where collateral damage limits and carriage quantity are important, whereas a 2,000-pound weapon provides greater blast, fragmentation, and structural damage against buildings, revetments, and other hardened target sets. The more difficult part of the May deployment was organizational conversion. The 142nd Wing previously operated the F-15CD, whose assigned mission was air superiority rather than routine air-to-ground employment. Major Jesse Loya was one of only 3 wing pilots with previous strike experience. All 3 had completed a 9-month air-to-ground course and then developed a shortened syllabus for experienced F-15 aircrew. Weapons personnel faced a similar gap. Tech Sergeant Tyler Phelps and several other loaders first traveled to Nellis Air Force Base to certify on F-15E Strike Eagles from the 59th Test and Evaluation Squadron, then returned to Portland to train the crews selected for Mountain Home. The milestone was therefore the establishment of a local training and certification base, not simply the physical release of 36 inert bombs. The F-15EX provides substantially more growth capacity than the F-15CD it replaces, but the Air Force still defines air superiority as its initial mission. Its primary tasks include offensive counter-air, defensive counter-air, cruise missile defense, and escort of high-value airborne assets, while its present precision air-to-surface capability remains limited. The two-seat fighter is derived from the Qatari F-15QA and, through it, the F-15E Strike Eagle. It adds digital fly-by-wire flight controls, dual helmet-mounted cueing systems, a large-area cockpit display, the ANAP-82 active electronically scanned array radar, and the ANALC 250V1 Eagle passive active warning survivability system. Compared with the F-15E, it also has 4 additional air-to-air weapon stations. Boeing lists an 81,000-pound maximum takeoff weight, a 29,500-pound external payload, Mach 2.5 maximum speed, and a 50,000-foot ceiling. Those figures explain why air-to-ground certification matters. During earlier testing, The F-15EX demonstrated a 12 AAM-120 air-to-air configuration and carriage of 3 AGM-158 joint air-to-surface standoff missiles. At those demonstrated load levels, for aircraft could theoretically present 48 AMRAAMs for counter-air operations or 12 JASSMs for a long-range strike package, subject to fuel, routing, and mission-specific carriage restrictions. The aircraft is not intended to replace the F-35A for penetrating dense, modern air defenses. Its more credible strike role is to carry larger numbers of standoff weapons, release them outside the most dangerous engagement zones, or deliver direct attack bombs after surface war threats have been reduced. For the 142nd Wing, air-to-ground qualification changes force allocation options, but also increase training demands. A squadron transitioning from the F-15CD must now maintain proficiency in counter-air tactics while adding target study, strike planning, weapons effects, release restrictions, and coordination with intelligence and joint fires personnel. The resulting fighter can be reassigned between homeland air defense and expeditionary strike tasks without changing aircraft type, but those missions compete for flying hours, simulator time, and qualified instructors. The Air Force already operates the F-15E as a dedicated strike fighter. The new capability is therefore not bomb delivery itself, but the distribution of strike capacity into F-15EX units that otherwise would have replaced the F-15CD on a largely air-to-air basis. The development schedule places the event in context. The first F-15EX flew in February 2021. The initial test aircraft reached Eglin in March and April 2021, and the Air Force approved full-rate production in June 2024. Tail number 008 arrived at Portland on June 5, 2024, as the first F-15EX delivered to an operational unit, and the 142nd Wing is scheduled to receive 18 aircraft. The Air Force is planned for 129 fighters across 8 procurement lots, although follow-on operational evaluation remained underway and no final finding on operational effectiveness or suitability had yet been published. Evaluators also identified immature maintenance technical orders and remaining uncertainty in some ballistic vulnerability data. The MADROPS should consequently be treated as an initial unit readiness gate, not a declaration of combat-ready strike status. The 142nd Wing planned to progress to live bomb loading and release at Nellis Air Force Base in late August 2026. Subsequent work will have to cover live fuses, precision guidance kits, tactical deliveries, contested electronic conditions, mission planning, and sustained sortie generation. The milestone matters because it transferred an already tested aircraft function into the personnel, procedures, and daily workload of an operational squadron, the point at which an advertised capability begins to become usable combat capacity.